Sandeep Mehta. Mr. Sandeep is the AVP Design and Head Substation Engineering at Sterlite Power Transmission Limited. He brings close to 2 decades of rich experience in the execution and engineering of substations and power projects across Southeast Asia and Brazil. Mr. Sandeep was instrumental in designing India's first vertical GIS at Gurgaon, India, for which the patent was filed in 2020. Today, Mr. Sandeep will be talking about trending technologies in substation projects. Let's welcome Mr. Sandeep.
Good evening all. Myself Sandeep from Sterlite Power. On today's session, we'll be talking about trending technologies in substation. While we are talking about the trending technologies, obviously we need to understand what was the old ways and from where we have revamped up to the new techniques. In old days, whenever you need to work for any substation project, probably we need to go to site, measure each and every inch and feet and meter of the distances and the installation there, and then doing the planning, making all the drawings and doing all those projects together. And probably that's how the earlier project which we used to have probably takes 3 to 4 years of time. And now probably if you see the trend in last 4-5 years, now the substation projects are coming hardly of 16 to 18 months of time frame. Reason being, there are a lot of new techniques introduced in the substation project, be it in the planning stage, be the engineering, be the execution. So we'll be touching upon those techniques, how it helps in today's scenario. So on the technique new parts, we'll be talking about the planning and engineering phase, then the execution phase, and as well as the asset health management phase. Reason being, establishing a project might be 2 years of job, but then maintaining that asset for 30-35 years, it's really a challenge, and how the techniques is helping there. So that will be our area of interest. Going forward, as we talk about the technologies in the planning stage, so drone survey took a bigger role in today's scenario. Probably whenever we enter into a substation project, all project may not be the greenfield project always. Someone could be the brownfield project or greenfield project. If we are having a drone survey data in place, it can bring all the measurement from the field, be it a building, be it a component, transformer, tower, whatever it is. And once you have those inputs from the drone survey from the field, that you can feed it to the software, from which the 3D model can be generated. And from that 3D model, planning engineer can understand what kind of intricacy is required there and what kind of challenges could be there, so that all the planning can be done during the desktop study. Otherwise, what happened today, whenever we are not using those kind of technologies, probably first time an engineer visit to site, he gathers some data, and then we start planning something. And once this drawing goes back to site, they find some mismatch in the dimension or error. Then again, it get feeds to the design engineer, these are the error, and do these corrections. So we are losing on those time. So that's why in today's scenario, time is the essence for any of the project. So it's better to have the accurate data point in the planning stage, convert into a right dimensional drawing. That's why rather than the individual human measurement, drone survey is the trending technology. And from there, we can fetch the data and create the 3D models. So it is all about the brownfield substation. Whenever we are talking about the greenfield substation, there as well, we can prepare our substation in a 3D view. And in a project, there could be lot of live part, metal part, and the earth part are there. So it's better to have those clearances checked at the design phase itself. Once we have a 3D model, we can check all those clearances. We can check the different underground utility event, or maybe the above ground utility, whether they are fouling with each other or not. So those kind of checks and balances you can do in a 3D model. And that's how this 3D model will help us to create those actual data point, and which in turn given to site in the form of a 2D drawing with the right dimension, and it can go for execution. Also, it's not that only the 3D model helps for checking of the design and drawing, but it also having capability of automated BAQ generation. Whatever components are being used for making those 3D drawings, so each and every component BAQ can be generated. So the life of an engineer become bit comfortable to have the automated BAQ generated. There are one more tool which is 3D terrain profiling. Nowadays, probably a lot of you came across that acquiring a land for any project, be it a substation project, railway project, or power plant, any kind of project, acquiring land is really difficult. So you can't expect a plain terrain will be provided for making a substation. Those days are really gone. So normally, a lot of engineers are here in this forum. They can recall the kind of site they get. It could be a corner of the hill, or maybe mix up of pond and normal terrain, or maybe a forest kind of terrain. But actually, it's become a challenge for a design engineer how you plan your substation in such a different terrain profile. So there are ways out. People used to do even 5 years back, that making a grid on an Excel sheet and then calculate your cutting filling volume, and then you come to a optimal position, what could be your levels of the substation. So those days are gone when people used to have only one level or maximum two level for a substation, maybe for 765 kV one level, 400 kV one level. But kind of land challenges we have in India, even across the globe, so it is required to reduce your footprint for the substation utility and bring the project viable. So there are so many service providers in the market, but if you search by 3D terrain profile, normally you get a software which can take inputs from your even drone survey, and then based on your requirement of the levels, they can give you the optimal benching and how much space you require for making your substation. Maybe in your standard substation, there could be 20 bays in one voltage level. So instead of keeping those 20 bays in one platform, you can make them even 4 platforms, 4 each or 5 each. That's how you can bring the use of technology in your service, and as a result, you are offering a best solution to the society. And as a result, we are reducing the carbon footprint other than wasting so many of lands. In today's scenario, even if we can reduce 1 ton of CO2 emission, it will be a great service for the nation. So let's aim for this. And another technique we talked in our earlier project as well, discussion as well, that digital substation. So one more technology is the digital substation. We touched upon in our earlier discussion also, that those days gone when we have to lay so many cables for running of a substation. Rather than that, we have come to a solution where all the signals can be transferred to a optical level signal, and those data can be fed to the relays from the field equipment, and that's how your cable work is getting reduced. As a result, your trench requirement is reducing, so your carbon footprint is reducing. So this is also a technique, but not very widely used in today's scenario. So probably we all engineers together can think of this and how we can bring the benefit for the society. So that will be our aim by adopting these technologies and trends which will really help to the society. And we talked about the technologies in the engineering phase. There are also technologies for the project execution phase. one is the BEAM 5D. BEAM 5D stands for 5-dimensional by building information model. So as we talked about 3D model, once your 3D model is ready for a project, then you can add the 4th dimension of the time. You can add the 5th dimension of the cost. So it is not that you don't have the control of your time and cost at the beginning of the project or at the mid phase of the project. Maybe today we sit and try to watch what my cost coming out at the end of the project. And I don't know, my project was planned for 18 months, whether it is going to be 24 months or 30 months. Once we have this tool in place, at the day one, when I am planning stage, the engineering 3D model is ready, then with all those components, we can attach a timeline to it based on the experience for constructing such supplies at the manufacturer house, construction at the site, and then testing, commissioning, and what are the cost component associated to it. And every weekly basis even, you can get the updates from this 5D model. It will give you the scenario. If I take one example, maybe you are making a 400 kV substation where your gantry to gantry spacing could be 24-meter bay width. But due to any mistakes by any human error, maybe instead of 24, we have casted 24.5. So it will give you the error. So rather than waiting at the end that some error had happened, let's recast the foundation. So once you have 3D model and you are regular basis capturing data from the field, and those field data again can be captured from the drone model, so that the planning 3D model can be superimposed from the site construction. And if there is any mismatch, it will throw you a output that this is the mismatch from the planning to the execution. So you will be cautious and take the corrective action then and there, rather than waiting at the commissioning phase to rectify those. At the same time, it will give you the indication for the time that your timeline is shooting up, or maybe your cost is shooting up. So this kind of benefits we have from this kind of technologies, as well as geotagging on the foundation. So geotagging is very less used for the substation context, but in the transmission line context, it is very widely used, as because transmission line running 100, 200 kilometers through the forest, through the roadside, whatever it may be. So this geotagging really helps that whether my foundations are casted at real right position or not. Nowadays, people are using it for the building, transformer and reactor, which are the key component for a substation. And it is better to check those, whether the design engineer at field or at the head office, he can gather those data and cross-check those. So these technologies really help in execution. And as we talked about, the project once built, we have to maintain this asset life cycle of the project, maybe 30, 35 years. So it's always better to do the maintenance. As my earlier speaker, Mr. Prabhakar, was talking about the maintenance and the kind of tools and offerings they have. So here also, the kind of software and technology available, we can have a digital twin model. Essentially, what does it mean, digital twin? Means you have an asset at field, and every asset are nowadays a smart asset, which are having a relays or the smart device, which can gather the input of those actual equipment and give the feedback to the software based on its health and performance. Like Mr. Bogan is talking about the PD level or the thermal image, all those things. Once those data are fed to the model, it will give you the indications. So what life I'm expecting from a transformer or a circuit breaker, but in between that, if there is any change in their behavior or properties, that we can observe from this digital twin model and plan for our maintenance. So that's how we can really increase the uptime of the asset, which is very essential for today's environment, to have the uptime and having 24/7 power. And then equipment health indexing, it is also the one kind of similar way that get the field input. There are nowadays online DGA, online drying system, then the thermoimagery, and then PD sensor, all those data. Once we have, there are so many software by the reputed organization. You can put those data for individual equipment. Even if you're having a 20 transformer, 30 breaker, 50 isolator, 30 cities, whatever could be your components, maybe DigiSet, all the equipment data you can put in your software based on the field data you have received so far. And then you can indexing your equipment, what the health is predicted. Should I take the maintenance now, or should I delay the maintenance till it can be running fine for next 6 months or 1 year? That's how this technology will help you to take decision. So if we summarize the discussion, what are the benefits we have from the 10T technologies? It's really a paradigm shift in substation project planning and engineering. So it's not like old days techniques to do all those things, manual measurement, and improve the project cycle. So obviously, as we were talking at the beginning, so now no project comes with 4 years or 3.5 years time cycle. All are coming with 18 months time cycle. And that's why each and every activity, even if we can save 1 day from one activity, it sum up to even 6 months or 8 months in the long run. And most of the project, we lose time in reworking. So how this techniques is really a paradigm shift is, if I can avoid a re-engineering in a project, I am really saving time for my organization. That should be the key of taking the advantage of the technologies and do the right planning, right execution, and right health maintenance. And obviously it improves the asset management cycle, and then effective planning of your capex and opex. Maybe today somebody is thinking, my transformer is 35 years old, should I replace this transformer today, or I can repair it by replacing few of the components by 2-3 lakhs and enhance the life by 2 years or so. So operator can take a right decision about their capex and opex planning. So that's all from my side. If there are any questions, I will be happy to clarify those.